Welcome, fellow carnivores. If you're wondering how to begin this carnivore journey, it's simpler than you might think. We're just going to be eating meat, salt, water, maybe some pork, maybe some chicken, eggs. I'll even let you have coffee and cream. It's really that easy. We just eat when we're hungry and eat till we're satiated. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chad. I've been following this carnivore diet now for more than 3.5 years. Over this period, I've lost over 100 pounds, experienced remarkable improvements in my health and well-being, and I'm thrilled to share my experiences with you, and I'm equally excited to hear your stories too. The most common question is, why do you want to start carnivore? Be it weight loss, fix autoimmune issues, diabetes, arthritis, which often go hand in hand with being overweight. Understanding yourself is key. Now, can you do this journey without support? What are your triggers? Is it emotional eating, or is it just purely sugar addiction, or something else? And what causes you to fall off track and cheat if you've tried other methods of losing weight? These are good things to know and just kind of put a mental check in the back of your head. Embracing the carnivore lifestyle is about changing habits. We're going to get rid of old habits and bring in new habits. It's also how we perceive food. And it's as important as what we eat. They must go hand in hand. So addressing this and overcoming those cravings, kind of rewiring our brains on how we think about food, is an important step for success. Of course, dietary choices play a crucial role. Meat, being incredibly nutrient dense and complete, is at the heart of the carnivore diet. Now, as you progress along this journey, you're going to likely notice positive changes in how you feel and look. While exercising isn't mandatory, I highly recommend it. Even if it's something as simple as walking around your neighborhood, working in your yard, or just being a little bit more active. And as you lose weight and start to feel better and those joint pains go away, that becomes much easier. I do find it best to tackle this journey step by step, day by day, and week by week. You might have heard so much about protein and fat and ratios and all this overcomplicating of things. In general, we're aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or a 1-to-1 ratio of protein to fat. Now, fat being higher in calories, that works out to about 70% fat by calories. And that's a pretty good way to start. But the great thing about carnivore is you don't have to calculate it or count calories or use a scale or use any kind of apps. It's as simple as listening to your body. And when you're hungry, you eat, and you eat till you're satiated. Now, what to expect? Some views from my experience when I lost my initial 100 pounds. Some days it would be 1 ribeye, some days it would be 2. Some days 1 was very close, so I'd have a couple extra hard-boiled eggs that I kept in the refrigerator just to kind of top up. This will vary from day to day, and again, if you listen to the body, and you eat when you're hungry and eat till you're satiated, it's all going to work out. But this is your own path. So if you like pork and chicken, that's fine too. Just eat what you love. Now, if you do fall off and cheat, don't worry about it. Just get back on. Don't keep looking back. But do acknowledge it and try to say, why did I do that? So you can avoid it in the future. Now, there are some things like carnivore ice cream. And if that helps you kind of get through some of these first month or 2 cravings that you're used to, that's kind of a carnivore way of doing it. Again, I do say in small amounts. Now let's make this easy. In the initial months, don't worry about all these complicated things you've heard like OMAD and 2MAD and other things like fasting and certain types of food fasts. We're just going to make this simple. If you do feel the urge to snack or you're craving snacks, it's most likely that you didn't eat to satiety, or you're just dealing with an emotional grazing habit that we're going to be changing. As you get comfortable with this carnivore lifestyle, you realize it's just taking 1 step at a time, focus on each day, and let the weeks build into months and the months into years. Now, you might wonder whether you should weigh yourself daily, once a week, or less often. This is going to be a personal choice. Myself, I did weigh myself 2 times a day, once when I would get up and once when I would go to bed. But I knew to ignore whatever it said on there. I was just very curious of how it would go up and down for the day. I think what's most important is how you feel and how your clothes are fitting. The scale isn't necessary, and it might cause some people a lot of anxiety as they see their weight go up 2 pounds one day when they just went down 3 before. So again, your call. Now, Before carnivore, I quit looking at the scale at 275 pounds. For the last 2 years, when I step on, I tend to see 178, and that's been very stable for those 2 years. And at 60 years old, I'm 5'11". I think, wow, that was the weight in my 20s and 30s, and I can't believe I'm back there. But this did take over a year and a half to get to. Just give it time, trust the process, and it'll work. The other side is no more brain fog, no more migraines, no more joint pain. My sleep is exceptional. There are so many other things, and I'm sure you've heard these stories along the way. I hope these are motivation for you. And of course, all the other carnivores out there all over YouTube share many of the same successes. Now, there's some mental and physical prep. The question might be, do you have a support system from friends and family? Do you have some coworkers you know that are going to try to rib you and make fun of you and tease you? Are some of them going to think you're nuts? And will that affect you? These are things you might want to think about as we go into this carnivore journey. Now, the carnivore community is very welcoming, and there's many individuals out there with YouTube channels like myself you can reach out to and just say, hey, I got a question on this or that, and maybe just you need it for a little motivation. So lean on that community if you need to. It's a great community. The shopping side, I think you're going to find shopping on carnivore is nice. You go in, you pick up meat, some eggs, maybe some cheese, and you're done. It's that easy. So stock up on some of those meats you like. Don't worry about grass-fed or finished. And again, if you like chicken or pork, get that too. Just eat what you love, eat when hungry, and eat until you're satiated. Myself, I eat a lot of chuck steak because the price is quite reasonable, and I just really like the way it tastes. A lot of people do this BBBE, beef, butter, bacon, eggs. That might be something to look into also. And speaking of eggs, if you do well with eggs, they're a great item. I would say look into some of the big club stores, Costco, Sam's, as they have the 5 dozen pack, and that way you'll have enough. It might seem weird to you at first, but not eating 2 eggs, but eating 8 or 10 is very normal in the carnivore community. Now for dairy, I did mention before, I think keep this to condiment size, so maybe some cheese on a burger or some cheese with your meat, maybe a small bowl of Greek yogurt or some sour cream to top off on your meat. And of course, cream for your coffee. And yes, I said coffee. I think it's okay to be drinking coffee at first. We're going to tackle that monster later, as it is the most addictive substance pretty much, I think, known to man. And it is the most widely used drug, we know that. In my opinion, it's not as big of a deal as just getting through this and having that comfort there. I know this as a coffee drinker. I did finally quit coffee, but it was 2 years into the carnivore journey. Again, let's make this simple and easy. Eat the meat you love, some cheese, cream with your coffee, and enjoy the journey. Now, you might have heard some people talking about fruit or honey. It's not carnivore, especially to start. So no fruit, no honey, no artificial sweeteners. This is important. So no artificial sweeteners in the coffee. Or if you do pick up some electrolytes, make sure that they don't have these artificial sweeteners in them. Now, spices are another thing that comes up. And once again, if you need your spices to get through this, enjoy your spices. I will say look at the ingredients and make sure that there's no sugars or other anti-caking agents in there. So you might want to make some for scratch or just double check what's in them and pick up some really clean ones. Now there's many carnivores that have been doing this for years, some over 10 years, and they have spices and they're just fine. So don't worry about the spices. The tough part is going to be cleaning your house of the junk food. If you're like me with a family, it can't be done. So you're going to have to just have a little bit better, tough mentality and avoid what's around. Now, if you can't bring yourself to throw out your food and think, oh, I'll just eat it up, don't. That's just self-sabotage. Just get rid of it. I thought of it as I was going to pay to basically get this taken away from me immediately. Kind of like you'd pay for a college education that you might not have used. Or if you could immediately pay somebody 20 pounds to get the weight off you, you probably would. So think of that as the payment that you bought this stuff, but you're not going to eat it anymore. It also puts you in this great mental control of you are in control of the food is not in control of you. So if you can, throw out the junk. Now, do you want to jump in or go slowly? If you're ready to jump in, then great. Go shopping, throw away your junk, and start tomorrow. Now, both approaches have merit. If you do want to go slowly, here's a few things. Mark it on the calendar now. Say the first week you're going to dump sugar and pastas. The next week you're going to reduce your vegetables and fruit. Just mark it on the calendar what you plan on doing and narrow it down till you have just a few vegetables with your meat. And then after that week, you're done and ready to start carnivore. Now, I do recommend if you can do just beef, salt, and water, that's best. If you want your coffee, dairy, spice going to help you get through it, use those too. Write it on the calendar and make this happen. Now, as you begin eating this way, it might take a few weeks to adapt. You might encounter challenges, but let's address them as they come up. Remember, one day at a time. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and share your experiences below in the comments. Stay carnivorous, my friends, and a hui ho.